This is THV 11 News at 6.
School district leaders here in Little Rock are considering major changes as budgets tighten. That's where we start tonight at 6. I'm Hoyt in for Brooke Buckner. The LRSD is moving forward with public meetings this week on proposed budget cuts, some of which may call for some hard decisions when it comes to staffing. THV 11's Tanya Motorzitsky is tracking what else may be on the chopping block.
The district cares, and I think sometimes it's just some hard decisions we have to make, and we have to respect that. You know, it's nobody's fault. We can't point the finger. We all have to work together and try to make this work.
Little Rock school district leaders say those hard decisions are being driven by years of financial changes, not a sudden crisis. The district is in budget talks, and during last week's budget meeting, the board discussed making cuts to avoid a deficit. They're trying to cut $16 million from its budget. Those plans include cutting staff positions and closing schools. Board President Joyce Wesley says hard decisions are being made.
We have to be efficient in the way that we operate or we won't be in existence. And so he is really being solution oriented and just looking at what's necessary to ensure that we are optimizing our capacity. So I feel like he's also, making sure that as he leaves, he's taking some initiative to even for changes with regard to his salary.
Over the weekend, Superintendent Dr. Jamal Wright sent this memo to staff assuring them he cares about the district and these decisions are difficult, saying, "We are facing challenges that require honest action. Declining enrollment, financial pressures, and long-term health of our district mean that maintaining the status quo is not responsible leadership." He says he did not take this lightly. Wright goes on to say while these difficult decisions affect staff across the board, they undoubtedly touch individuals and feel personal. Wesley says they plan on evaluating staff before making cuts.
We have enough individuals that we should be able to make the shifts necessary to make sure that things are aligned as they should be. So I feel like and that's one thing that came up, that if individuals are not retained in that particular position, that we're looking at other roles that they could fill. So it's not as if, we don't have enough for this class, so then we're just making cuts.
According to state data, enrollment at LRSD schools has dropped to just under 19,000 students. Because state funding is tied to enrollment, less students means less money. It's important to note the district is not in financial distress, but under the LEARNS Act, if they do become in distress, charter school companies can take over. To avoid that, the district has to make tough decisions. In Little Rock, Tanya Motorzitsky, THV 11 News.
Tanya, thank you. And one school already under review is Hall High, and district leaders and state leaders consider proposals on that school's future. There is another public budget session tomorrow. It's at 5:30 at Southwest Community Center.
Well, Rolly, the sky is on fire tonight. Look at the sunset that we have over Arkansas with the high-level clouds and the sun setting. You got a lot of color out there, beautiful color, lots of yellows, oranges, and reds for the sunset tonight. Beautiful evening. It was a gorgeous day. Highs made it into the lower 60s. We're at 56 right now here in Little Rock, 62 Hot Springs. Batesville 57. We're cooling off. Now, they did have to deal with a lot more cloud cover over southeast Arkansas. The numbers down there only in the 40s and 50s. Later on tonight, fog is expected to redevelop. May have to deal with that tomorrow morning. Tracy Bean will have more for you bright and early, but by 4 o'clock, we'll begin to see some patchy dense fog. Temperatures bottoming out in the upper 40s. After the morning clouds and fog tomorrow, 68 for the high, and then we'll deal with a couple of mostly cloudy days. As we get toward Thursday and Friday, we'll have a weak front and then an area of disturbed weather behind that front that will bring minor chances of rain to your forecast. I'll have that for you coming up in just a few minutes. Rolly?
All right, Tom, we will look forward to that. Meanwhile, early voting begins tomorrow. Every ballot in the state will have to decide whether Justice Nicholas Bronny gets to stay on the state Supreme Court. Right now, Bronny is in position 6. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders appointed him at the start of last year, but an appointed justice can't run for their own seat, so he is running for an open one, position 3. And challenging him is attorney and law professor John Adams. The race is nonpartisan, but Bronny has been endorsed by the state's Republican leadership, and Adams has run for Congress and the state legislature as a Democrat in the past. Now, people across the state are also deciding on the lawmakers who will represent us in Congress. For District 2 here in Central Arkansas, incumbent Republican French Hill faces Chase McDowell in the GOP primary. The winner there will face the Democratic winner in the race between Chris Jones and Zach Huffman. In the eastern half of the state, District 1, Representative Rick Crawford of Jonesboro will likely face Democrat Dr. Terry Yarborough Green of Paragould, but that'll be in November. No need for a primary there. In District 4, western and southwestern parts of the state, voters will decide between, Democratic voters, I should say, will decide between Steve O'Donnell and James Russell to challenge Republican Bruce Westerman. O'Donnell's a Navy veteran and business owner, and Russell has run for office in the past while spending decades in the mental health care industry. Lawmakers in D.C. now are working their way through a partial government shutdown. As funding for the Department of Homeland Security ran out over the weekend, and there is no end in sight for the shutdown as debate continues over potential changes to immigration enforcement. Both the president and Congress are out of town for the President's Day holiday. Democrats want immigration officers to take off their masks, wear body cameras, and get warrants to enter private property.
I know what they want. I know what they can live with.
We're willing to have a good faith conversation about everything, but fundamentally we need change that is dramatic, that is bold, that is meaningful, and that is transformational.
The president's border czar says the shutdown is unnecessary, but Tom Homan said that ICE is not impacted because of the past funding bill. Republican representatives say that President Trump is the one handling the negotiations with Democrats, and lawmakers will get a 2-day notice to return to D.C. for a vote once they get close to a deal. To Tucson, Arizona now, where law enforcement sources tell CBS News they are hoping Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker may help them find the missing 84-year-old. Yesterday marked 2 full weeks since the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie disappeared. The Pima County Sheriff says investigators have spent several days reviewing surveillance video at Walmart stores in the area where they believe the potential kidnapper bought a mask and a backpack. The FBI also entering DNA recovered from a glove found about 2 miles from the crime scene into a database. A scam warning for Verizon customers. The cell provider is offering a $20 credit after an outage last month. You remember that. But cybersecurity experts say that since customers know it's coming, they might be more likely to get fooled. See, because experts advise that only claiming credits via the My Verizon app. So watch out for text-based scams called smishing attacks. Cyber criminals have leaned into these kind of scams because people tend to be more trusting of texts that come through, which can also include direct messages from social media.
What Verizon did, which from a cybersecurity perspective I don't quite agree with, is they sent texts to people. What cyber criminals immediately did is piggyback off of what Verizon was doing, sent their own fake malicious links out to anyone that they had on a list of phone numbers.
And if you think you've clicked on a malicious link and gave up your username or password to scammers, take action right away. Reach out to both Verizon and your bank and get passwords and usernames changed. Today, Arkansas is honoring a civil rights icon as the state marks the 25th anniversary of the Daisy Gatson Bates holiday, recognizing the woman who helped guide the Little Rock Nine through one of the most pivotal moments in American history. Back in 2001, lawmakers passed Act 304, creating a state holiday in honor of Bates. She mentored the 9 black students who integrated Little Rock Central High back in 1957. She also owned the Arkansas State Press, at the time the only black-owned newspaper in the state. She also served in a leadership role with the NAACP and advocated for civil rights across the state. The holiday moved from her November birthday, though, to February to align with Black History Month and help educate young people about her legacy.
It's a wonderful time to reflect on the accomplishments she had as a leader in Little Rock and how she helped to mentor these 9 young people who integrated Central High School.
And while we call it President's Day in most of the country, here in Arkansas, the holiday is officially called Washington's Birthday and Daisy Bates Day. Checking in on heart health this American Heart Month. After the break, a recognizable face in Saline County warning everyone to check for your signs before you end up in an emergency.
A few degrees warmer tomorrow as temperatures here in Little Rock and the metro rise to near 70. There will be a few 70s out there, but even warmer down the road and very small chances of rain.
And here's a look at what's on tap on the THV 11 Plus app tonight. Some great sports content, and then a documentary on World War II, all leading up to the news. Back here with you at 10. Remember, you can download the THV 11 Plus app straight to your TV. Watch for free.